Candidates, please be seated. First off, I would like to thank Noah Merriman, Isadora Mitchell, Kendall Crows, and Jenny Ryan for providing the beautiful music as we all entered tonight. My name is John Hoffman. I'm a member of the Grand Haven chapter of the National Honor Society. I would like to warmly welcome the honored inductees, their parents, relatives, friends, and current members to our annual National Honor Society induction ceremony. Before we begin our program, I would like to introduce our three National Honor Society's advisors, Mr. Mark Londot, Mrs. Kim Kowalski, and Mrs. Lynn Bailey. These advisors encourage and support our NHS members' positive student leadership and their active involvement in school and community service projects. Also, I'd like to acknowledge the NHS Faculty Advisory Committee, consisting of Mrs. Stephanie Portinga, Mrs. Angel Dean, and Mrs. Holly McKelly. Please help me show our appreciation with a round of applause. Now, please join me in welcoming our guest speaker tonight, Brian Pearson. Mr. Pearson is a former officer within the United States Army, a Bronze Star recipient, and is now a lawyer practicing in the areas of business, real estate, employment, and construction law. Ladies and gentlemen, Brian Pearson.
Thank you. Whoa, that's a little loud. Yeah, I generally talk pretty loudly. My wife's in the audience, she can attest to that. So if I do, just, tone me down a little bit. So thank you. I absolutely appreciate the invitation to speak with you tonight. I relish the opportunity to face 115 talented and motivated students who are being held here captive by the fact that they won't be able to check their phone for the next hour. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the inductees, their families, and other supporters in attendance here tonight, along with the educators and administrators in the room. The NHS is the nation's premier organization to recognize outstanding high school students. Tonight is a night to honor all of you for the time, effort, and commitment you've expended towards achieving this honor. NHS is more than an honor roll, as it serves to recognize those students who have demonstrated excellence in the area of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. These characteristics have been associated with membership in NHS since its beginning in 1921, though I've merely been a part of the organization since 1994. Despite my boyish appearance, I was in your seat merely 23 years ago, and for many of the people in this room, that probably seems like merely a drop in the bucket. Today, it is estimated that more than 1 million students participate in NHS activities. So chapter membership not only recognizes students for their accomplishment, but it also challenges them to develop further through activities, school activities, community service. You're going to hear a lot tonight about the 4 pillars of NHS, which are character, scholarship, leadership, and service. And obviously, this wouldn't be a high school speech without quotes. So what I'm going to do is mention each of those pillars with a famous or maybe not so famous quote attached to it. So first, character, or as I define it, citizenship, your personal conduct. We must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy, wrote J.K. Rowling, which sounds a lot more official than some old wizard from Harry Potter that I've never seen the movie or read the book. So we're going to go with that. Scholarship, which is knowledge. Any fool can know, but the point is really to understand, said Albert Einstein. Leadership, which I define as the practice of being a leader. A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the equality of his actions and the integrity of his intent. Douglas MacArthur. And the final pillar is service, or repayment. Pay it forward, your obligations. Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. JFK in his inaugural address in 1961. So I'm fairly certain there are many among you asking yourself, why would this guy invited to speak here tonight? And that's absolutely a fair question. So let me address that first. As you can see, I'm not the eccentric but brilliant science teacher, the winning basketball coach, or the popular guidance counselor. While you are the only ones in a position to judge my worthiness as your induction speaker tonight, maybe hearing a bit of my story will lend a modicum of credibility to what I'm going to talk to you about tonight. So I'm 89, wow, I'd look good for 89. I'm 39 years old. I live in Grand Haven with my exceptional wife, who's a local artist, and our two beautiful, brilliant, and fiercely independent children. I've practiced corporate and real estate law for the past 9 years in Grand Rapids and in Muskegon. I'm the son of two public educators and grew up with one older sister in a small town north of Kalamazoo. Pretty pedestrian so far, I must admit. In addition to these facts, I also have some somewhat unique experiences. So at the age of 17, which many of you probably are, I was faced with a similar choice about college. So my college choices came down to 3 schools: the University of Michigan, the University of Notre Dame, and West Point, the United States Military Academy. My college decision was never really a choice because I decided to attend West Point for 3 basic reasons: service, leadership, and knowing full well that at 17 years old and for the next 9 years at a minimum, I was going to get a bevy of experiences, some good, bad, somewhere in the middle, but all of them unique. And these reasons turned out to be spot on. These reasons just happened to aptly align with the pillars of National Honor Society. So let me tell you a little bit about West Point. It's a beautiful, historic, demanding place located 45 minutes north of New York City on the Hudson River. It's been described as unquestionably the world's premier leadership institution, a place with such famous graduates as Eisenhower, MacArthur, Grant, Lee, Patton, and Schwarzkopf. My name purposely excluded. The purpose of West Point is stated as to develop leaders of character who serve the common defense. So once again, we come back to the pillars of National Honor Society. But before this digresses into an infomercial for West Point or the other service academies, a few other things about my background. At 22 years old, I was commissioned in the United States Army. As an executive officer, second lieutenant, I took command of my unit on September 11th, 2001, which immediately increased our threat level and operations tempo for those of you who were around and remember it. I became a captain, and I commanded a finance company for 3 years, lived in Germany, did tours in Poland, Turkey, and Iraq in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom II. So as a finance officer, I essentially did the same things as all the other companies, except we carried around very large sums of cash. And contrary to what you believe, $2 million in U.S. currency, tightly packed $100 bills is all that you can fit in a large backpack. So when you see it on TV or in a movie, you're not putting $40 million in a backpack, just for your knowledge and future reference. So as you can tell, I've experienced quite a bit. I've seen a war-torn nation embattled in daily combat. I've been involved in humanitarian aid, international security, and diplomacy. I've experienced the impact that wars have on a United States citizen, those who volunteered to serve the country, and their loved ones and family members. Following my military experience, I opted for a more civil profession. I joined the law. So in 2008, I graduated from Indiana Law School, and I've spent the last 9 years practicing law in West Michigan. These experiences are relevant because I've seen leadership in all shapes and sizes, under the most pressure-filled, stressful situations you can imagine. So let's talk about some things I've learned on my journey. And I'm going to focus on 2 pillars of the National Honor Society, which the first one is leadership. My advice to you, inductees tonight on leadership, is this: find your role. Everyone in this room has an opportunity to be a leader every day, whether it's in academics, school clubs, band, sports, leaders of faith, family, or other outside interests. Leadership is not a one-size-fits-all proposition. It develops from a unique combination of your personality, your experiences, and the circumstances that you're facing. So myself as a leader, in high school I was in student government, National Honor Society, captain of sports teams. Then I became a cadet at West Point, and then as I mentioned in the Army, I was an executive officer and a company commander, including time in combat. Now in life, my leadership roles changed quite a bit. I lead as a parent, a coach, a board member, a husband, and some leadership positions within a law firm, which would absolutely bore you to death. So my leadership philosophy can be summed up in 2 words: interaction and action. And I'm going to talk about these briefly in the context of a military operation, specifically a convoy mission, but it obviously can be applicable in other situations. So first, let's talk about interaction. The first thing about interaction that's important is leaders listen. Leaders listen up to get instruction from their boss, because everybody's got a boss, but also leaders listen down. Leaders listen to the subordinates, their peers, to understand really what's going on the ground. Leaders also ask questions. Leaders lead from the front. They must understand the situation on the ground. So through this interaction, you can make an identification of your strengths, weaknesses, either individually or collectively. Your personalities, your limitations, but also your capabilities. It allows you to be successful in the next phase, which is action. The first thing about action that's important is the over-preparation, which comes back to the interaction. There's no substitution for preparation. You need to know what your mission is, know what your task is, prepare, compile all the intelligence and knowledge, know your capabilities, and in the military context, your enemy's capabilities. Next part of action is practice. Training with your personnel, training with your vehicles, vehicle maintenance, weapons maintenance. But then at some point, as a leader, you have to make decisions. When it comes time, you put your plan into action, and then you make decisions on the fly, because of course your plan's going to go sideways as soon as it's implemented. Trust yourself and your team. Once you've built up that team around you, it's okay to delegate, and it's okay to pass down responsibility. Another key part of leadership that I think does not get spoken about enough is pass the praise and accept the blame. So it's okay to fail, and it really takes a long time. It took a long time in my life to learn this lesson. So think of a quarterback after a big football game. You see Tom Brady at the podium after the Super Bowl, and his team, let's say his team won by 21 points. He's not going to talk about how great he did. He's going to talk about how great everybody else did, how great his line blocked, how great his defense played, how his coaches put him in a position to win. That's passing the praise. The next part is accepting the blame. If he gets up there and they got beat by 21 points, he's not going to point fingers at everybody else. He's going to talk about the mistakes that he made and things he could have done better and accept his role. So to put a bow on leadership, I want to stress that you are leaders every day. So make a conscious effort to find your style and practice leadership. Next thing I want to talk about is character. Who am I? That's the question you should be asking yourself. Character has been defined as how you act when no one is looking. As Dr. John Wooden said, be more concerned with your character than your reputation. So the key to character, in my opinion, is finding the genuine version of yourself, not someone you think others would like you to be. So how do you formulate this genuine version of yourself? Here are a few suggestions. First, choose your heroes wisely. Hero, I define as someone I'd like to emulate. Do I want to emulate my friends, parents, celebrities, athletes, inventors, scholars? Be a critical consumer when it comes to heroes. Do not confuse wealth or celebrity with hero. For example, do I like Matthew Stafford for who he is, or do I like the fact that he's led the Lions to 26 fourth-quarter comebacks in the last 8 years? Do I like Kendall Jenner for who she is, or do I like the fact that, well, I'm not sure what she does, but she's a personality of some sort. So be a critical consumer of celebrity. The next thing about character is seek inspiration from the great, but more importantly, the everyday. And in my life, I seek inspiration from the people closest to me. So my spouse, Stacy. Choose someone different and better than you are. My wife is definitely different than I am, and in many ways different, and she's absolutely better. Lessons I learned from my son. It's okay to put yourself out there, say yes to opportunities. He's 10 years old. My daughter, who's 8. Life was so much more than I ever knew, including the fact that glitter is actually a color, and it's never a bad time to do a cartwheel. My mother taught me to always do my best, not what will get me an A. My father taught me that there are things that you cannot control, but your attitude is not one of them. And my sister taught me the absolute value of hard work. So to sum up character, you've heard some of my thoughts on character. Hopefully they spark you to find the genuine version of yourself. The great part about character is that it's completely up to you. It is something you build upon every day and you can control. So we've talked about leadership and character, but there are two more thoughts I have to kind of bring it all together. First, no matter what your plan is, it will derail at some point. Sorry to burst anybody's bubble that their perfect notion of their life, college, dream guy, dream girl, perfect job, etc., it's probably not going to happen. So I apologize for that in advance for bursting that bubble, but the plan will change, and frankly, that's a good thing. Thank God my plan changed, because when I was 17, if it were up to my 17-year-old version of myself, I'd be driving a Thunderbird with a mullet and a jean jacket. So I'm pretty happy that didn't happen. The next part about this is be flexible and adaptable. Your foundation needs to be strong, which are the pillars that we're talking about tonight, through character, education, leadership, but your commitment to helping others can remain consistent throughout. And this is really the last thing I want to talk about. You're in a unique position to widen your lens and what I'm going to call take a swing. If your world is always the same size, your experience and perspective will be too. Some of the parents in this room may not want to hear it, so feel free to tune me out if you haven't already. But when you're 16, 17, and 18 years old, some of you may have traveled, experienced other parts of the world. I imagine that most of you have been born and raised within 50 miles of where you sit today. There are many amazing qualities about West Michigan and Grand Haven particularly, so please do not see this as a criticism. But the vast majority of the world is out there, and it's not within 10 miles of where you live. Grand Haven has about 11,000 people. The United States alone has 323 million people. The world has 7.5 billion people. So there's got to be someone in here that's much better at math than me, but that's like 0.3% of the people in the world live in Grand Haven, something like that. So put it another way. Only roughly 10% of the world speaks English, 10%. And only 15% of the world has internet access. I assume that many of you have yet to independently make major decisions that will impact the rest of your life. That time is changing. You will soon face choices regarding college, jobs, military service, other service opportunities such as the Peace Corps, travel, financial issues, fun adult issues like insurance, rent money, health care. But now's the time for you to start thinking about making decisions for yourself. You don't have a mortgage yet. You don't have student debt yet, but pretty soon you're going to be considered an adult, at least under the law. So I have to provide a school-mandated disclosure. Please graduate first and then take the swing that I'm talking about, okay? I would think this would be implied, but I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. So take that swing, widen your lens, go out there, don't be afraid to fail. Some of your experiences will be good, some will be terrible, but they'll all be unique to you. So be informed. Consider your family, consider your friends, but ultimately choose what's best for you. Not your friends, not your parents, not your boyfriend or girlfriend. If those people are truly meant to accompany you on life's journey, they'll support your decision and still be there. I truly thank you for your time and attention tonight. Again, I wish you congratulations to all the inductees and wish you nothing but the best in your bright future. Thank you and have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson, for being with us tonight and sharing your inspiring story. Our first NHS leadership member will now come to the stand, Spencer Sorman.
We will now proceed with our traditional induction ceremony. On the table, you see one lighted candle, representing the eternal light of knowledge, flanked by 4 unlit candles, representing the qualities of service, scholarship, leadership, and character. The membership of the Grand Haven chapter of the National Honor Society works tirelessly to reflect these 4 qualities that are held in high esteem by the Society and the Grand Haven High School staff. and our officers who pledge to demonstrate and model the value of each as they lead. And now our next leadership team member, Jenny Ryan.
The quality I represent is service. The willingness and desire to work for the benefit of those in need without pay or recognition is a quality we seek in our membership. We are committed to the idea of volunteering time and abilities to the creation of a better school, a better community, and a better tomorrow. NHS members must complete a minimum of 15 volunteer hours per year, including 5 NHS-sponsored hours, and participate in the group service projects. Many of our members have participated and volunteered at the North Ottawa Community Hospital, in our local elementary schools, at the Tri-Cities Family YMCA, coaching and assisting with sporting events, in their places of worship, tutoring students in our community, with the Community Foundation and the United Way, and in their neighborhoods. Their volunteering not only enriches the lives of others, it is also enjoyable and rewarding. Trent Sedgink is our next leadership team representative.
Scholarship means a commitment to learning. A student will spend hours reading and studying, knowing that in the end, it's not only the grade, but the knowledge and understanding that is important. We should continue to learn even when formal education has ended, for education ends only when life ends. Knowledge, not money or status, leads to the highest success, and it can be acquired in only one way, through diligence and effort. Learning fuels the lamp which helps us understand the past and helps us clarify and process the future. NHS members have the responsibility to continually expand their worldview through the opportunities available due to their commitment to learning. NHS candidates must have earned a cumulative GPA of at least 3.6 and also recognize the responsibilities and rewards of maintaining academic excellence. Our next representative from the leadership team is Kaylee Bowie.
All right. Leadership should bring the school together in taking the initiative in class and school activities. Should the true leader strives to help others to achieve excellence. The price of leadership is often sacrifice, the willingness to give one's personal interest for the greater good. A leader has self-confidence and the will to move forward when others hesitate. The guidance of a wise, honest, and trusted leader is irreplaceable and takes the form of both bold and quiet styles of leadership. Many NHS members lead by setting a positive example for others to follow, including becoming committee members, chairpersons, and office holders for local organizations, including youth advisory councils. Leadership is vital to help NHS run smoothly and reach its goals. Our final NHS representative is Alyssa Wiedemann.
Character is the force within each individual which distinguishes that person from others. It shows respect for others and the self.
It's the force that guides us through life and deepens with each experience, positive or negative. Character is the product of daily striving to make appropriate choices through one's sense of right and wrong and self-control. Every action reflects on the person responsible for that action. Each NHS member is challenged to demonstrate actions of quality, dedication, passion, virtue, and pride. We commit to internalizing the values of character so that we may be role models for others. By committing to attend NHS monthly meetings and service projects, obeying school rules and the law, and being role models of integrity and honesty in our school, we demonstrate such qualities as reliability, morality, and integrity. Positive character can help us rise above any challenge. The student sponsors will now introduce the candidates. The student sponsors are Kaylee Bowie and Noah Merriman.
Will the first row of candidates please rise and take their positions? As your name is called, please come forward and present yourself to our principal, Ms. Wilson, to receive your membership certificate. Anna Ackerman. She is involved in swimming and basketball. She wants to go to Michigan State to study pre-med. Nathan Adams. He wants to become a teacher and is involved in Model UN and Young Democrats. He also thinks Oprah should be the next president. Mijan Ahmad Nizam. He is involved in FIRST robotics and track and field. He hopes to become a doctor, specifically a neurosurgeon. Claire Arnett. She hopes to become a financial advisor. Ethan Ball. He's involved in water polo and swimming. One day he hopes to become an engineer. Matthew Bays. He's involved in Youth Advisory Council and the tennis team. He enjoys traveling, science, and the outdoors. One day he hopes to become a marine scientist. Matt Beals. He's involved in water polo and swimming. He would like to become a mechanical engineer someday. Alex Beecham. He would like to become a doctor. Ella Beringer. She plays the viola and participates in track. She hopes to become a psychologist. Skylar Betts. He enjoys working with computers and physical activity. Valerie Bobbledike. She plays cymbals in the marching band and French horn in the concert season. She participates in Science Olympiad and hopes to be someday a pediatric surgeon. Lauren Banky. She plays the piano and violin in the orchestra. She wants to pursue a career in interior design. Abby Beitenheis. She's involved in cross-country, track, and Catalina. She enjoys traveling and going to the beach. Bradley Beitenheis. He enjoys traveling, snowboarding, and playing baseball. Katie Carmine. She is involved in Interact Club, and her goal is to be accepted into a great college. Miguel Castellan. He enjoys helping others, and he wants to get a master's degree in math and education so he can help those who struggle with the subject. Madison Chappell. She enjoys volunteering in the community and hopes to go to Michigan State to earn a nursing degree and use that to give back to others. Kirby Colella. She is involved in swimming, student senate, track, and Catalina. She enjoys going to the beach and hanging out with friends. Mackenzie Crow. She enjoys playing softball and hopes to become a cardiologist in the future.
Will the second row of candidates please rise and take their positions? Zach Dewar. He enjoys swimming and surfing. Noah DeVerney. He enjoys using computers and understanding pre-calc, and he's looking forward to joining this community and providing his service. Kristen Doty. She enjoys traveling, learning German, and playing in the orchestra. Thomas Draper. He enjoys skateboarding, snowboarding, wakeboarding, and Science Olympiad. Habib Elamir. He enjoys studying politics, music, history, playing video games, and volunteering. He's also on the Youth Advisory Council. Jonathan Elias. He plays basketball and he hopes to be an engineer. Christian Forbes. He likes to play hockey. Marley Frazier. She does cross country and track, and she loves to travel. Rob Francis. He enjoys learning about music, and he aspires to become a percussive engineer. Mason Fritz. He enjoys water polo and traveling, and he wants to become a doctor. Balint Gall. He is in DECA, and he plans on studying supply chain management in college. Dennis Glass. He enjoys sports and is interested in the medical field. Morgan Gundy. She plays the violin in the orchestra and is captain of the girls' rugby team. She hopes to one day become an elementary school teacher. Jackson Ham. He does swimming and water polo, he enjoys spending time with friends, and he hopes to be an engineer in the future. Abigail Holman. She is involved in golf, lacrosse, Catalina, and dance. Madison Holub. She's involved in cross country and lacrosse and hopes to attend medical school in the future to become a pediatrician. Alexis Horton. She plays golf and skis. She's involved in the Ambassador Club, and she hopes to become a physician's assistant in the future. Isabel Hausman. She's involved in jazz band, takes part in the marching band, and overall enjoys music. She's a member of the GSA, a delegate of the Model UN Club, and a lover of history and English. Samantha Heiler. She enjoys art and playing tennis, and she's also involved in Ambassadors Club and likes helping others. Dalia Jarosik. She enjoys art, sports, and helping others. She's involved in soccer and basketball, and her plan for the future is to be a biomedical engineer.
Will the third row of candidates please rise and take their positions? Caitlin Jonas Roberts. She enjoys traveling and babysitting. Ben Uhas. He enjoys being outside, playing lacrosse, traveling, and eating. Caitlin Ketterer. She likes to read and loves learning about history. Alexandra Kingma. She hopes to attend the University of Michigan someday. Jake Clayhorse. He's involved in water polo, swimming, lacrosse, FCA, and Young Life. Tylee Knieper. She's involved in swim and water polo. Cam Lakatos. He enjoys chemistry and the outdoors as well as hanging out with his friends. He is involved in GOTAC, orchestra, and plans to be a biochemical engineer. Bennett Lowe. He enjoys history and hanging out with friends and is in Model United Nations and the Science Olympiad. He wants to become a nuclear engineer in the future. Madeline Mahoney. She enjoys playing the piano and violin. She loves animals and is looking forward to volunteer at the animal shelter. Fisher Mancia. He enjoys drawing in his free time and enjoys working as a barista at Jumpin' Java. Matthew Marcus. He plays water polo and is a member of Science Olympiad. He is a Chicago Bears fan, which means many, many disappointing Sundays. Ashlyn McKee. She is involved in equestrian team and hopes to become a doctor. Alexa McVoy. She enjoys volunteering and riding horses. She is involved in Student Senate and Ambassadors Club. She hopes to be one day a psychologist. Lily Mears. She is a track athlete, orchestra student, and nationally ranked in spelling bees and taekwondo. She is also an officer in Model UN as well, and enjoys art and reading. Maylin Miller. She's involved in many clubs, too many to list here. She is most involved in her leadership roles in Drama Club and Interact Club. Samuel Missel. He enjoys history and science and wants to do something in the medical field. Jayla Nicoli. She enjoys theater and piano and hopes to become an orthodontist. Madison Olson. She plays the violin and the mandolin and gotok. She hopes to become a curator after graduation. Audrey Parchetta. She plays the violin and hopes to become a nurse after she graduates. Trinity Peters. She's involved in the Interact Club and wants to become a dentist.
Will the fourth row of candidates please rise and take their positions? Adriana Pipe. She's involved in sideline and competitive cheerleading and enjoys writing. Grace Platts. She enjoys playing basketball, soccer, and cross country. She likes to help people and wants to make an impact on her community. Jax Plummert. He enjoys playing hockey and golfing. He also likes being outside and going to the beach. Quinn Remington. Quinn is in 3 different singing groups, and he loves every second of it. Nathan Sexton. He enjoys meeting new people and one day hopes to live in another country or study abroad. He's involved in the Young Democrats Club and the Cultural Immersion Club. Courtney Shaw. She's part of the early college program and looks forward to getting her associate's degree, then transferring to a 4-year college to continue her education. Ellie Slater. She plays tennis and the violin. Sarah Sicoli. She's involved in the equestrian team. Caitlin Souls. She danced for 14 years at Spotlight Dance Academy and has been competing for 9 years. Isabel Staskovich. She enjoys running cross country, Catalina, and volunteering at the Humane Society. Ellen Stolarski. She enjoys working in the community through programs such as YAC and Student Senate. Faith Stevens. She's on the golf team and is going to college and hopes of becoming a veterinarian. Macy Swiftney. She loves working in the community and helping others and hopes to go to college to become a nurse after high school. Jasana Taylor. She's involved in choir. She enjoys creating music with her peers and is passionate about helping others. Brigham Thornock. He plays water polo, rugby, and swims. He wants to get a degree in computer engineering. Lindsay Vandermeer. She enjoys hanging with her friends, playing soccer, and listening to Taylor Swift. In the future, she plans to become a graphic designer. Brendan Vandewey. He enjoys playing baseball, attends the Osteo Scholar program, and hopes to become a doctor. Elise Van Dyke. She's involved in tennis and ambassador club and hopes to go into international business. Grace Veldhuizen. She's involved in cross country and lacrosse and enjoys biology. Alexis Van Single. She is involved in Bucks Blade and enjoys English and literature. In the future, she plans to pursue a career in psychology. Chloe Weigel. She is involved in Model United Nations, DECA, Student Senate, and loves giving back and being a part of the community. She hopes to one day have a career in international relations. Braxton Wirt. He's involved in DECA and golf. Megan Wexel. She's involved in cross-country and student senate. Mark Wilgenberg. He's involved in water polo and swimming, and he enjoys helping people whenever possible. Mariah Yaney. She's part of the early college program and is looking forward to getting her associate's degree and transferring to a four-year college to pursue her education. Laura Yonan. She's currently involved in GHHS girls soccer in the spring, Ambassadors Club, and Green Club. She was encouraged to join NHS by her older sister, and when she graduates, she plans to attend the university and major in communications or psychology. Brooke Zellman. She's involved in swimming and water polo. She has one younger brother, and she is involved in youth group and very active in serving at her church. In the future, she wants to attend a university and major in business management.
I am pleased to present the 115 new members to the Grand Haven chapter of the National Honor Society. Will the present members please rise and join the new members in the National Honor Society Induction Pledge? You guys can repeat after me. I pledge myself always to seek the light of truth, to hold scholarly habits, to engage in worthy service, and to lead forward in all things that shall advance the welfare of the school. I pledge myself to uphold the high purposes of this society, to which I have been elected, striving in every way, by word and deed, to make its ideals, the ideals on my school and of my life. And now, please welcome Mr. Roberson, who would like to offer a few brief remarks.
Good evening. I had a very long speech put together, but it seems like most of it's been covered by our students, so I'm going to shorten it up. That'd be all right with you guys if I spend this long? I want to start by just congratulating the students in front of you. They've already demonstrated the qualities required to be a National Honor Society member, and the fact that they're standing here, that means they've already earned the scholarship piece. They've demonstrated character in the building, and they kind of went through a vetting system, and the teachers had a chance to pull any one of these students out, and they said, you know what, every one of them deserves it, and they're here for that very reason. Now, I do want to give my 2 cents on those 4 pillars, the 4 characteristics, because I did a little research on the history, and to me, it's more than just the 4 words, and so I'll be very quick, I promise. But the very first one says, to stimulate a desire to serve. And to me, that's more than just serving. You know, a lot of people serve because they have to. With NHS, they want to teach you that you should serve because you want to, because it benefits your community that you're a part of. And so just keep that in mind. The second one, and this will be funny, I think, is to create an enthusiasm for scholarship. And I've seen all of you walk in the morning, and I wouldn't say enthusiasm is the first word that comes to mind as you're heading to first hour. But because you do care about your grades, because you do have a passion for learning, it's not about the GPA necessarily, it's about the learning, and I want you to remember that. Because you want to have a passion and enthusiasm for everything you do in life. And learning is just the first phase of that. The third one is to promote leadership. Through NHS, you can have opportunities to lead. And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're alone, but there's never a wrong time to do the right thing. And so my favorite phrase, and that's one of them, my second one is, be the change you want to see in the world. And it takes guts to be a good leader. And so please take advantage of that. And the last one, and the most importantly to me, is character. It is who you are. Your integrity, your ethics, your honesty, those things are your calling card. They will go with you wherever you go in life. And so if you do those things right, everything else will take care of itself. The beauty is you control it all. You can make that choice. Some people do, some people don't. So I want to challenge you to live up to those ideals, make the most of your time here at the high school, and then you go out into our community, continue to live that life. Because those 4 traits will serve you very well, I assure you. I am positive our new inductees possess all those required skills of scholarship, service, leadership, and character. But again, I challenge you to reflect on what it really means to be a part of NHS and to value those 4 pillars. Lastly, I want to thank a few people in the room here. First of all, to all the parents, grandparents, friends that are here, you are the reason they are on stage. It does take a community, but parents, you have a time commitment, you have a lot of dedication put into your child, and it pays off, I promise you. So thank you for all you've done to support them and our schools. I want to thank our seniors that were, I guess, over here and some out there for their leadership tonight and throughout their 3 years in the building so far, and I look forward to more this year. It's a great group of students. They've done a lot of amazing things and will continue to do so. To our advisors, Mark Londot, Kim Kowalski, and Lynn Bailey, they put an amazing amount of time to put this program together, as well as the meetings, keeping track of volunteer hours. There's a lot that goes into it, and it benefits our kids, so I really appreciate that. To Brian Pearson and his comments, shared a lot of great wisdom. I hope you guys listened. He's been some pretty amazing places. And finally, again, I just want to congratulate you on being inducted to the National Honor Society. I look forward to you working for the benefit of our community and school. And remember, because now you're a part of this organization, you're held to a higher standard. And take advantage of that and give your best at all times in all you do. So congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Roberson. Also, congratulations to each and every one of you on behalf of the National Honor Society officers, advisors, and current members. And now I'd like to welcome Mr. Mark Londot up to the stand.
It is a pleasure to work with these students every day as a teacher and an advisor of NHS. It's amazing. It keeps me youthful, at least I think so. It's also it gets me excited to come to work because of the students. They're definitely put life in this building. They put life in my classroom. And I thank you. I look forward to the next couple of years working with you and seeing you grow up and hearing as you go on and what you do in life. It's pretty amazing to see that and hear in the future what happens. Thank you, families, again, for being part of this ceremony. This is a big part. Thank you to you and what you've done and poured into these kids. Appreciate it. Thank you to Mr. Pearson. Great time having you here to speak. I really enjoyed that. Mrs. Kowalski, Mrs. Bailey, thanks for the help. Advisors, it takes all 3 of us and a lot of time. Mr. Roberson, thanks for the words and supporting us in your actions every day. The leadership team, great job. We kind of throw it on them and then we just let it roll and see what happens, and they always do a fabulous job. Musicians prior to the show, appreciate that, the time they put into practice. New inductees, you can kind of hang out here. So parents, if you want to come up and get pictures of the whole group, you are welcome to do that. The current members put on some refreshments in the cafeteria. Feel free to enjoy that. And new members, you will be dismissed. Thank you. Have a great night.